Hey, I'm Debbie, and thanks for checking out this message today. We're glad you're here, and we would love to get connected with you and your family. One easy way you can do that is to text River Connect to 97,000. You can also visit our website at theriverchurch.cc to learn more about us and some upcoming events. Lastly, if you would like to give to the River Church today, you can text the amount you want to give to 84321, or you can head to our website and click the Give tab at the top of the page. Thanks again for joining us, and we hope you enjoy today's message.
Merry Christmas. It's good. If I don't know you, my name is Caleb. I'm the pastor here, and I'm just so grateful for you to take time out of your Christmas Eve. I know all of you have busy schedules today. You're like, hey, you need to promptly be done at this time. We have this meal. We've got to head here over the next couple days. And so thank you so much for taking the time to come out today and spending a little bit of time as we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. That's why we're here. And so we are grateful you are here, whether it's your first time or your 100th time or you fill in your number. We are so grateful that you are here. I love Christmas. Christmas is such a fun season to celebrate with kids and grandkids and aunts and uncles. I love playing games. I love winning games. I'll get that clear out, okay? All right, I love to, you're like, do you let your kids win games? No, I like to win, and they cheer their dad on, okay? All right? I know I have issues. It's okay, all right? And so I love all the festivities. I love the food as well. And so it's great. We have a tradition around the Combs boys. We definitely eat our fair share of shrimp. And so love to get shrimp and just hang out. And we get the Lions this afternoon. So what can be better, right? And so it's a great day. I will tell you one frustration I have with Christmas. Okay? I am terribly unhandy. You're like, what does that mean? I am not putting things together, like directions, like really struggle. You're like, really? No, I'm not very good with any of that stuff. And so directions, you don't need those. Just look at the picture and you can figure it out, right? And so we put together a kitchen a month ago for my 3-year-old for her birthday, and my son, who is 15, was better at it than I was. And so I am man enough to admit that out loud. And so not very good with many of those things. And so what I do like is Legos. Anybody like Legos? I like a Lego. It's not an advertisement for Legos, in case you're wondering, okay? All right? But I like to put Legos together and put things together. And so this morning, I put together a bird. And so it's crazy what they do with Legos. And so I opened the box this morning and spent some time, and it's a creator box, in case you're wondering. I don't know even what that means. And so I began to start on the first page, right? It starts piece by piece, right? Piece by piece. And so I am very much one that tends to miss pieces and skip out. You really have to zoom in on the bird? You're like, okay, cool. Like, I don't even know why, all right? But I love to spend the time, and so it's engaging the brain. So I spent some time this morning and put it together, and what I found is as I was putting pieces, not big and small, all sorts of them, and this is just a small set, if I skipped a piece or missed out on a piece, what would happen to the Lego set, right? It wouldn't come together. There'd be something missing. It would not come together, wouldn't be complete. It just would miss out on what it was supposed to look like. And I'm the guy that would just flippantly skip through and miss out on something, and then it wouldn't be what it's supposed to be. I did a 8 and over Lego set, okay? All right, I did not want to touch any of the older child or adult Lego sets this morning, okay? And so that was my morning. But I began to think about this message this morning. I began to think about Christmas. I began to think about our world that we live in. And looking at Isaiah chapter 9, verses 6, we see the proclamation Or we see the foretelling or the prophecy that the prophet Isaiah would tell of the coming of Jesus, the birth of Jesus. Isaiah chapter 9 verses 6 says, "For to us a child is born." That child is Jesus. I love that word us. It's so important because it's to the whole wide world. Ties in John 3:16. For God so loved the world. He gave Jesus, this baby boy, to be born in a manger to us. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. That word, that last description, that last naming of Jesus there, Prince of Peace. Over the last few weeks, you didn't have to necessarily be here, but we looked through some of these names that would describe Jesus as being a wonderful counselor. We looked at the might of God. We looked at everlasting Father last week. And this, for the next couple minutes this morning, we look and we see Prince of Peace. I know you're sitting here today, okay, sounds good. Jesus, God, okay, he brings peace. I get that. All right, can we sing another song? I gotta head to this festivity. Or I've got to head to this party. But I want you to, for the next couple minutes, we're not going to keep you all day, but I want you to begin to think of that descriptor of Jesus being described as a Prince of Peace. When I say that word peace, many of you flippantly go, oh, you know what, there's not a lot of peace in this world. We can think of the battles of the wars in Israel right now. We can think of the unrest and the battles in Ukraine. We can think of all the different lack of peace in our world. And for some of us, and I'll say myself included, we begin to go, God, why do you allow these things to happen? God, I don't understand. If you're the Prince of Peace, why are these things happening? We begin to go, okay, that's not just peace in our world. Let's begin to now introspectively look at the lack of peace in our society. But we'll go even one step further, the lack of peace in our lives. The drive for more, where we're not very good at, like, oh, I need this, I need that. Once I cross that bar or that settlement of the job or the finances or that relationship, but until I get there, I won't have peace. That sound familiar to anybody else in the room? I was just describing myself. Because that's our culture, that's our world, that's the classic American dream. Once I get this, I will get to the state of peace. Or once I retire, or once my finances look like they're supposed to. And so we begin to look at all the, watch this, missing pieces in our life. And we go, God, I don't understand. I don't have peace. If you describe yourself as the Prince of Peace, I feel like on a daily basis, I struggle to have this concept of peace. You're sitting here maybe for the first time, you got invited by a family member or a friend, and you're sitting in the seats and you're going, man, this guy is passionate and loud. I'm only passionate and loud because I want every single one of us, not just you, to understand this concept of the true Prince of Peace in our lives. See, what is peace? The dictionary describes peace as freedom from disturbance. It uses the word tranquility. I would have never used that word outside of the dictionary, in case you're wondering. Right? And if we're really honest, you don't have to raise your hand here. Most of us would never describe our lives as freedom from disturbance or tranquil. So the Hebrew word that Isaiah uses here would be described as shalom. It's interesting, if you go to Israel, they greet one another with this shalom, or peace be with you. They greet and farewell as shalom. And so it's a very much peace be with you or peace as you go, because it's a striving for a life of tranquility or striving a life of a lack of disturbance. And you're going, well, Caleb, you just described my life in a nutshell. All of the different things and the balls that I have in the air, you know for a matter of fact, I don't have peace. Well, maybe you're missing this peace that Isaiah the prophet wrote 800 years prior to the birth of Jesus Christ. 800, like this is not like a couple. This is a foretelling of this Prince of Peace that would be born. And so I want to help you understand where we get that peace, where we grasp and understand that peace. The Bible describes we can have a peace that passes all of our understanding. So I get an opportunity to do lots of funerals. It's a great privilege for me to get to walk in and help a family and encourage them and love them. It really is. I feel truly honored every time I get to do a funeral. But early on, when I was a younger pastor and hadn't done a lot of funerals, I always felt like I had to have the right words to say. It was a pressure. You're like, if you don't have the right words to say, you're supposed to come with the right words. And if you don't have them, you need to go like, you're just not going to fit. And so I put that constant pressure on myself. But it was a few years after I started doing them that I began to realize, man, my words aren't going to bring peace in this situation. My words are going to be somewhat empty, maybe not empty, but my words, my presence. The reality is I began to understand that I had to point people not to a peace that was happening in this world, but a peace that we couldn't grasp or understand, which ultimately was a person. And that person of Jesus Christ being born that Isaiah chapter 9 describes as Prince of Peace, the source of peace. And so for you and I, we must understand and grasp first and foremost in our search for peace. You're like, are we on a search? I guarantee you, every single person, old, young, man, woman in this room would say, yeah, I'm on a search, whether you want to admit that or not. The Bible describes in Ecclesiastes that eternity is written on our heart, that we're seeking fulfillment. We're seeking this concept of fulfillment in our lives. Some of us being fulfilled by relationships, finances, jobs, athletics, church, religion. You fill in the blank, right? We've all sought fulfillment in all sorts of things. Some of it in a lot of bad things. Some of it may not be bad. But the reality is our search for fulfillment only can be fulfilled in the Prince of Peace. And so you and I have this seeking desire of fulfillment in our lives, and we're searching on a daily basis, and it's not until we realize our need for Jesus Christ in our lives, that's when we will find peace. Like, how does that happen? Well, we first have to realize as a sinner, you're like, what does that mean? Well, every single one of us has done wrong. Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and fallen short. We are all broken. We are all struggling. You're like, are you allowed to say that in church? Well, I hope so. Because there's no perfect people sitting in this room or joining us online. They're not here. And so we're born into this broken system, seeking fulfillment in all sorts of things and areas in our lives that we're missing peace. We're missing a peace in our life, and we're trying to fill our heart with all sorts of stuff. And it's not until we realize, man, we're at odds with God because of that missing peace. And we realize, wait, I need God in my life to fulfill that peace. He is the missing piece, and it's realizing, wow, I can't do my life on my own. I can't be married on my own. I can't raise my kids. I can't go to school. I can't do nothing in this world because I have a missing piece, and I realize I must come to a place of humility. and go, God, I need you. The sad reality is many of us are pretty hard-headed when it comes to that. That's just me, not you. Okay, sorry, I don't mean to offend you this morning. And we just constantly keep going back and back and back. Well, I got this. I can deal with it. And it's coming to the realization I can't do it on my own. I can't do too many good things. I can't earn my way. I can't give enough money. The great thing about Jesus is he says, hey, you know what? Come to the realization that you are a sinner and confess that you're a sinner. I'm broken. And believe that Jesus Christ, this baby born that we describe and we sing about and we share verses about. Luke chapter 2, this baby born in a manger was born on mission to give you and I peace. Peace with God, that we could have an avenue, an area of salvation. That's called the gospel or the good news. You notice I said you couldn't earn your way there. See, for many of us, we think we can do enough good things to have peace, right? Well, you know what, man, I donated. I worked at a homeless shelter. I did this, I did that. All those are good things. I'm glad. But if those are your source of peace, there'll be emptiness. You'll be missing a piece. And it's not until you come to the realization of your need for God in your life. And the good news of Jesus is, man, I'm broken, I'm a sinner, and I need you. I can't do this on my own. I confess my sin, and I believe that Jesus Christ was born, lived a perfect life, and he died on a cross and rose again. He was born on mission so that I could be at peace with God and I could have peace in this world. You're sitting here going, okay, Caleb, that sounds good. That makes sense. I can be at peace with God, but I still am struggling. There's still difficulties in this world. I wish I could get done preaching and say, hey, you know what? Give your life to Jesus Christ and you'll never have a lack of peace in your life. You'll never have struggles. Everything will be good and you'll win $1 million, right? All right? So let me borrow a little bit, all right? We're good, all right? No, that's not a reality. That's not what the gospel teaches. And so you say, Caleb, I'm missing a piece. And God is my peace, but then why don't I constantly have peace? I live in a broken family. I struggle with finances. Or maybe you've seen the news or social media. There's not a lot of peace there. Don't spend any time on Twitter. Caleb, this is an election year. There's definitely not going to be peace. I'm already annoyed with the phone calls and the radio and all the different commercials. There's so much anxiety building in my life. I don't have peace. Jesus spoke directly to this. He says in John 16:33, I have said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart. I have overcome the world. See, in Jesus Christ, not in the things of this world, you have peace. See, the peace is an inner peace, realizing, yeah, there's a lot going on around me. Yeah, there's a struggle in health. There's a struggle with finances. Yeah, my job is a battle. But guess what? You're looking at somebody, wow, there is a peace that I can't grasp or understand. How do they have peace in what they're going through? And the only answer, I want you to hear this very clearly, is Jesus Christ. It's the only answer. Well, man, Caleb, you don't know what kind of financial struggle I'm going through. Yeah, you can find peace in that situation, giving it all to Jesus. Well, you can't control it. Guess what? That's okay. Well, I got this health thing going on. I've had this happen. I have that this person hurt me. I just don't have peace. Well, the reality is coming to that very grasp and understanding that giving it all to Jesus. I can't control it. The Apostle Paul wrote in Philippians 4, he says, not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content, or I can have peace wherever I'm at. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound in any and every circumstance. I want you to hear this. I've learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and in need. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. See, the source of peace in this world is not your checkbook or your bank account, your job, your relationships, your religion. It's only Jesus Christ. He's the Prince of Peace. See, the rest or the peace that Jesus was talking about here is a quiet rest or a stillness in your heart. It's not the absence of trouble, but exists in spite of trouble. See, this peace, I read this week, pushes through all the disturbing circumstances that life can throw at you. See, I described this peace that you and I can have. I described this peace that passes all our understanding, regardless of situation. Regardless of difficulty, regardless of road. So I want you to understand this very clearly. I love you enough to say, you know what? You've been seeking peace in all the wrong sources. You're missing a piece. The only peace you can be fulfilled with is Jesus Christ. So what does that look like? I shared it a little bit ago. It's coming to that understanding of I give my life to Jesus. I'm a sinner. I'm broken. Romans says God demonstrated his love. While we were yet broken, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for you. That's the beauty of Christmas. You're like, I thought we were talking about the birth of Jesus. Well, he was born so that he could die for you and I. That's the beauty of Christmas. I'm going to ask you to do this. I'm going to ask you to bow your head and close your eyes around the room. Okay, we're not going to keep you long. We got one more song. We're going to light some candles here in a second. You say, Caleb, you talk about this peace. You talk about this peace that I don't grasp or understand. I don't have peace with God. I've never given my life to Jesus Christ. I've never done that before. I've had this inner turmoil that just eats me up on a daily basis. That I struggle on a constant basis because I just feel like God is calling, and I've tried to fill the things in my life, the fulfillment of things in my life with all sorts of the wrong things. And today I know I need to give my life to Jesus. I know I need to find that peace, that inner peace, the peace that passes all understanding. If that's you, I'm not going to embarrass you, I'm not going to point you out. That's not what we do here. If that's you, would you do me a favor? Would you put your hand up and put it down real quick? Real quick. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me. There's hands. You're not alone. Thank you. Thank you. Right up, right down. Right up, right down. Right up, right down. I'm going to lead you in a prayer. It's not the prayer that saves you, okay? It's not my words. It's a heart change. It's your confessing that I am a sinner and I need you as the Lord of my life. That's it. You're seeking that peace. Others sitting in this room have already done that before. I'm going to ask that you repeat the prayer with me just to encourage those that haven't. For those that raise their hand, we're going to pray this prayer, okay? Repeat after me. Dear Jesus, thank you for being born to die for my sins. I'm a sinner in need of a Savior. I give you my life. I give you my past, my present, and my future. Come in my life. I'm yours. In Jesus' wonderful name. Amen.